Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, running into your brand new day. Today, the 26th of August, 2025. It's Tuesday, and I'm ready to go. Let's unpack this morning. We continue with our discussion, our perspective on that development with Venezuela, the U.S., and Trinidad, somewhere in between the equation. But we start with the front page and a local development. That's right. Tetron breached again. Let's get into that story. Jason Williams signing on JW and company alongside the team. We go until 8 a.m. Of course, this particular development, it came into the, I would say, the news cycle when they moved what the government, or I guess the system, those within law enforcement, they deemed Raji Ali, I would imagine, high risk. Obviously, the allegation, the claim is that he was able to communicate and conduct affairs from within the walls of the prison. So they took him to Tetron, which is supposed to be a secure location. You know, not everybody could get in. Not anybody at all. As a matter of fact, when his legal team was going to just have their normal meeting and to conduct business with their client, it went as far as to the lawyers being blindfolded, right? Man, put on blindfold, they even know where they're going, and you have certain amount of time, certain restrictions, very dread restrictions. From what I'm seeing here via the story, and I took time this morning to go through page 5, they're saying that Tetron was breached. And I guess based on, let me give you the flavor here, because I'm rather baffled by this development. They're saying, according to the order against him, which was signed by Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander, Ali is alleged to have conspired with a gang alliance to, quote, immediately carry out targeted killings on law enforcement officers and other public officials in public spaces using high-powered rifles. That's the allegation, and well, he was moved from MSP, Maximum Security Prison in Aruca, to Chagaramas at the start of the SOE. That was on July 18th. Now, at that time, it is said that Ali had been able to communicate with affiliates from inside the prison. That's from, obviously, the MSP. What they're saying here, the order remains, and, of course, it's one where you're looking at everything here as a public safety issue, a public safety threat, and they're saying his further detention is necessary, as he has shown that he has the means and resources to continue to engage in gang activity despite his present incarceration and a threat, again, to the safety of the public, end quote. This is, again, going based on what's being told to us here via the news cycle. It's a rather, what a development. And from what I'm hearing, if indeed Tetron is breached, that is bizarre. I can't even really look at the accused at this point in time. I have to look at the officials and those who, you know, have given a particular allegiance to protect the Constitution and the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. And it means that if that's the case, everybody really got a price tag. And that is a real sad day. Where they'll put him next? Where they'll have to put this man in the ocean or something on a barge? I mean, what is going on? And I mean, he's just one of many. They would have put forward, obviously, some, well, based on what I'm seeing here, detention orders. And the funny thing is, some of the men, including Mr. Ali, already in prison. So it's a rather interesting read. And I implore you to get today's Guardian to unpack the layers and get the real perspective. Of course, we'll keep our eyes and our ears in tune to this developing story. A rather strange one indeed. Of course, on the political front, former PNM Minister Lenny Said dies. I'm seeing that the, well, tributes were pouring in yesterday. And from what I'm seeing via the Guardian this morning, he will be laid to rest on Thursday at the J.E. Guide Funeral Home in San Fernando. That will be at least the final stand. His service will be there at 4:15 with, of course, the final rites after. And, you know, he's one I can't really recall ever saying I would have met Dr. Lenny Sate. But it's a name, if you monitor politics, you look at the local political cycle. It's a name that would have been in the mix for many years. From what I heard, he entered the politics back in 1987, and he would have served throughout the years with distinction. And I guess, you know, we must say kudos and obviously anyone who will put themselves up and give years of service within the political sphere, which is, you know, it's not an easy place. You have to give them the kudos and give them the flowers and tell them a sincere thanks. So the tribute's pouring, and there is more on page 8. You'll get a little flavor as to his legacy and his particular time in the political arena. Back to the development with Venezuela. Well, the Prime Minister, she, again, not mixing or mincing words at all. Obviously, that development continues. Nothing yet is just obviously USA kind of using the military assets to send a message. There's been no kind of engagement thus far, and I hope it really stays like that. Because, you know, when two giants get in the ring, if you're the, well, I wouldn't even call us the referee, if you're too close to the ring and they start to spar and pelt hand, if you're too close, you can end up getting a bad lash. And that's what I do not want for Trinidad and Tobago. We heard from the Venezuelan, one of their officials yesterday. And he's one, honestly, though, he's been sending insults to our Prime Minister for quite a while since she took office. That is the Justice Minister, Minister Cabello. He says the interference, our interference, TNT's interference in Venezuela, with this development, he describes it as, quote, shameful. And he goes on to, you know, speak about, you know, the Prime Minister, and he says, you know, the man said he, the Justice Minister, spoke on behalf of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know if he is getting some kind of feedback, if he has some kind of fielders on the ground, if he's on the pulse, but I found he kind of spoke out of turn. You can speak on behalf of everybody here. Even though, I mean, of course, you know my position, I put forward my position yesterday, but still, I can't accept somebody from so far removed talking on behalf of all of us, because there are many, like Mr. Central and others, who call into the program in tune and support this particular move by our Prime Minister. But nonetheless, let me tell you what the Defense Minister, what a matter of fact, the Justice Minister there said. He says, quote, certainly, hear the man saying that? Certainly the citizens of TNT, that's us, myself, everybody here in the room, he says, are not proud of their leaders for taking shameful positions, end quote. Right, so yeah, the man keep talking on behalf of all of us. Listen, I hope it remains this kind of back and forth with words, because if it gets down to boots on the ground or any kind of attack towards Venezuela, it is going to get extremely tense in the region. We are known for, again, peace and for having diplomatic relations. We saw that flare up with Guyana and Venezuela. The leaders went to St. Vincent. They were able to shake hands and let it slide. I mean, obviously, we recall Grenada, what happened there in the early 80s. Panama, 89. Haiti's always been a hot spot. We recall what happened there in the 90s, and UN troops, and even some of the Trinidad and Tobago troops going there to kind of bring peace and order, but like it never worked out because they're still, up to this day, in a shambles. But generally, there have been flare-ups and different incidents, but generally it's been an area of peace, and I can't recall within recent history any major military assets. I guess there always will be in the waters. They have bases in other parts, strategic parts of the region. But so far down south, and again with that back and forth with Venezuela, and it started from since before President Trump and President Maduro. I mean, since the days of President Chavez, going to UN and speaking after George Bush and saying that the devil was here and he made the sign of the cross. Remember them days? Yeah, so that's no recent thing, you know. They have had their issues for quite a while. I just hope it doesn't play out into something major where we end up just on the sidelines looking on and getting impacted by it. we'll talk about that later on. Of course, we want to head to the back page and we celebrate with, I know you're not seeing the picture big and bold. I'll get back to the football in a few, but I want to congratulate our TNT women's volleyball team, a successful team indeed, winning the Women's Caribbean Zonal Association title, the senior championships, winning there in Bahamas on Saturday. I believe it's Barbados they would have defeated. But they do have a home. And for some reason, even though we have folks very passionate about the volleyball and we have done well in the past, they do have a home. So I'm hoping the new sports minister and those in charge could really listen to their plight, give them the necessary tools and resources, and a home, a proper grounds where they could train and just develop their skill. Because when we come up against the real powerhouse in the region, we want to be able to stand up and hold our own. And we have talent, real amazing talent. I used to go watch volleyball all the time. I haven't gone in a long time, I'll be honest. I have not gone in a long time, but there was a point I was actually into volleyball, and I said, what? Real talent in the place. So I'm happy for the women, well done, and hopefully they could, with this victory, at least get a meeting with those in charge so something can be done. Again, back to the back page, a fantastic game yesterday in the English Premier League. Literally with the last kick of the game, Liverpool took this one 3-2. Newcastle were down to 10 men for, well, all of the second half. A bad tackle on the Liverpool captain Van Dijk. Player got sent off, so it was 11 versus 10. Then as the second half start, Liverpool scored second goal. So you thought, that's it, done and dusted. Newcastle fight back 2-1. Then again, down inside the dregs towards the end of the game. They got the equalizer 2-2, and you told yourself, well, hey, that's it. What? A 16-year-old come on as a sub, right? A couple minutes to go. Literally, last kick of the game, the young man who's going to turn 17 this weekend scored the winner, yes. Liverpool won the game 3-2. That Liverpool-Newcastle matchup seems to be a real classico in terms of modern history and the EPL, exciting times. And also Central FC hunts their first points. That's, of course, on the local side of things. Central FC, they seek the CCC points in Suriname. Yeah, that's the CONCACAF, the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup. That's what you call the CCC. So we wish Central FC all the best. They're up in that Group A matchup. On the football tip, before we head to the brief, we are gearing up for next week. Put yourself in a gear. Trinidad and Tobago versus Curacao, September 5th. Here's the Crawford Stadium from 8 p.m. Let's go out and support our Warriors. Well, sorry, I can't even call them Warriors anymore. We have to call them the TNT senior squad. I still feel they're working on the name. But we going out, supporting these men full 100 as we try to get to that World Cup 2026. And of course, this week we head to the Southland for CPL action. TKR back home, and it's going to be a great turnout, massive support. You know, it's Lara, the game is in the night, so best you leave town all around this time. Leave town 6 in the morning. Trust and believe. It's going to be tremendous traffic heading to South on Wednesday. We head to the brief on this Tuesday morning. And what's the brief saying? Well, Fire One, they support the silent fireworks. Well done, Fire One. And, well, stores, it's confirmed, stores will be closed on Independence Day. So that's Fire One McCoy, well, their warehouse and the marketing manager, Ms. Guinness, giving some perspective here on The Guardian. And you're seeing fisherman Rakesh Ramdas, men's net head of another trip down there in Cedrus in the Southland. We get a perspective concerning TNT and our economy at 63. Mariana Brown joins me to unpack that story as we continue with our independence conversation. And later on, regional security expert Dr. Garvin Hira speaks on that issue between the U.S., Venezuela, and Trinidad in the mix. See you soon.
Big ambition starts with clear vision. This back to learning season, Herrera Optical has eyewear packages for every learner. For kids 15 years and under, get a free frame with lenses starting at just $495. Scholars, it's time to level up your look with frame plus lenses from $750. Lifelong learners, purchase any frame $1,099 plus and unlock up to 30% off premium lenses like Eisen, Varilux, and Transitions in 8 bold colors. And don't miss your chance to win a $1,500 learning supply voucher or transition lenses when you purchase any eyewear package. Herrera Optical, big ambition, clear vision. Visit us in store today. This promotion is NOCD approved.
New promotions. Arima Door Center number 4, Cleveland Road, Arima is having new arrivals and new prices. See new security steel doors, $1,900. A variety of door handles starting at $60. Bathroom vanity sets, $1,700. So hurry to Arima Door Center.
Did you know a business degree leads to diverse career opportunities and advancement? Start an internationally recognized business degree from the world-ranked University of Hertfordshire at CTS College. Classes are 1 day per week, with mostly assignment-based assessments. Plus, with 3 intakes per year and flexible payment options, getting started is easy. Holders of an associate degree, advanced diploma or ABE Level 5 diploma can complete this program in only 12 months. Call CTS College today and find out how you can get $6,000 off.
Do you suffer from pain in your back, knees, or joints and need effective pain relief? Get your life back with Omega XL, a natural, safe, anti-inflammatory supplement. This small soft gel has up to 22 times more omega-3 free fatty acids than fish oil and is backed by 30 years of clinical research.
I can just tell you from my experiences, there's nothing like this Omega XL.
Live the life you deserve and get the relief you need. Get Omega XL now at your local pharmacy.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This court is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Make sure you have yourself a great investment week by viewing The Bourse Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Bourse Report. CNC3, covering your world. Ask the Doctor's new season is here as Dr. Joel Tilak Singh covers a range of topics and, most importantly, answers all your medical questions.
Join us on Ask the Doctor live on CNC3 on Thursdays at a new time of 8:30 p.m. with a rerun on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Economist Mariano Brown joins me on the Zoom line. As we get into some very important discussions this morning, we will treat with our independence and the economy in a few, but I want to start with the very hot topic of the U.S. and their military posturing, their military assets, in the Caribbean seas, heading towards Venezuela, and Venezuela's very strong response, and Trinidad and Tobago kind of just in between based on our geographic location. Mariano, great to see you, and happy independence in advance.
Well, happy independence to you and the country in advance as well.
Mariano, you know, obviously we know with military action, the human cost, right? Obviously we're not there, and we hope it doesn't get to that place. But what's the economic fallout of such a action, or some might even suggest provocation? I know that will be probably what the Venezuelan population and their government will look at this particular development as a provocation. But where do we stand, knowing that we are more or less in the middle of all of this based on our location and proximity to Venezuela?
Well, the reality is, I think the best way to look at this is what Henry Kissinger said. If we look at our relationship with North America, and certainly if we look at how Mr. Trump deals with his allies, to be an enemy of North America is dangerous. To be an enemy of the U.S., not North America, is dangerous. To be its friend is fatal. And we have to think about it from that perspective. We have crafted a foreign policy position which allowed us to be non-aligned. That's the technical position we've taken for literally all of our 73 years. In the height of the Cold War, 1974, Trinidad would have set up diplomatic relations with China, which indicates a certain degree of independence. And we have literally, Trinidad and all of CARICOM has also supported Cuba throughout all of its difficulties, notwithstanding the fact that we've not been able to give them aid in the way, the way that, for example, Cuba would need. But the point is that it established a certain degree of independence in terms of our international relations position. That's the first point. The second point is that the position was that it was important to be friendly with everyone, but not necessarily to be seen to be supporting any particular side at any one point in time. That's the second point. And the reality is that we always needed to look after Trinidad and Tobago's strategic interests. And Trinidad and Tobago's strategic interest as a small country operating in North America's backwater, if you will, with lots of North American assets in position, has always been to be friendly. But we also have to recognize that North America is 1,700 to 200 miles to the north of us, and Venezuela is 7 miles to the west of us. So in those circumstances, non-alignment has meant, notwithstanding your friendship with North America, you wouldn't do anything to saber rattle or to upset or to attack or to be seen to be an enemy of our next-door neighbor. That's the third point. Now, if you put those principles together, there's nothing wrong with Trinidad and Tobago signing allocation of forces agreement with North America, because at the end of the day, it still requires Trinidad and Tobago's permission for foreign forces to be located on Trinidad and Tobago's soil. So notwithstanding all the comments that have been made so far, the reality is Trinidad still has the option to say no. It's always difficult to say no to a big country, especially one that is bigger than you and in your backwater. So the point has always been that you need to be friendly with everybody and not necessarily take any strong positions. There may be situations that would come which require a stand on a matter of principle. Right, so you could set that as a fourth point. And the fifth point is that I don't think anybody has any objection to operating or allowing or for cooperating with anyone that is meant to deal with and reduce the level of drug trafficking and increase the level of drug interdiction in the region. And quite frankly, Trinidad and Tobago is has meant to have played a pivotal role in that particular position.
But Mr. Brown, you know, obviously that's the reason being given by Washington, but we have seen the playbook, and many are suggesting that the real reason for going into Venezuela is to destabilize, to get Maduro out so that the oil and gas and the real interests could come into play. What's your perspective in that regard?
I put the 5 things in position before I got to that point so we could establish preconditions.
Yeah.
All right. So having established the preconditions, the point I would make is this. I don't think there's any evidence or possibility that North America will the USA. Sorry, not North America, the USA. North America, unfortunately, lumps Canada with the USA, and from what we've seen, that does not work. So let's just say the USA's position to send 3 warships to the region is not compelling. That's just saber rattling. And quite frankly, so we send 3 warships to the Caribbean. None of our business. It's as long as they're international waters, we can't do anything about it. And even if they were closer, we wouldn't be able to do anything about it either. In which case, you take a blind eye to it, you say what you have to say, and you don't get involved in it. And I think that would be the position, given the 5 principles I set out, that's where Trinidad and Tobago would stand. And with this your word of caution, right? Because I don't think the USA, given all of its involvements at the moment, is in no position to tackle Venezuela head on. All right, so I think what we're looking at is saber rattling, and in those circumstances, noise is cheap. Yeah. So that the better thing to do is to say nothing, or to say very little.
But what does the noise do when we think about foreign investment? Will they be hesitant based on what's happening? At least foreign investors, when they look at Trinidad and Tobago, again, our proximity to all of this.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago's foreign investment positioning over the last 20 years, 25 years, have been associated largely with one particular area, which is in the energy sector, oil and gas and petrochemicals. All right, so that I don't think that saber rattling is going to do that much. Energy companies are known to operate in all the difficult conflict zones of the world. Even when conflict is going on, they will still be there. So I would say that would not bother any investor from that perspective. The reality is that Trinidad and Tobago is not attractive to investors or to investors in the energy sector, and has not been, because we don't have what is required, a long-term supply of gas. And our supply has been declining. So the only people that you would find who would be interested are those, for example, exploration companies who have a buoyant view of the future. And in that position, Exxon is probably the one energy company in the world that has taken the position that fossil fuels is here to stay and we're going to exploit it as much as possible. BP has had to roll back on its initial investment statements with regard to repositioning itself as an energy company to be a green company. So I don't think that the noise is helpful, but at the same token, I don't think the noise is going to scare away any investors in that particular segment of the market. They know what they're doing.
Mr. Brown, you mentioned oil and gas. I had an opportunity in 2019 before COVID, and the place was locked down, to visit the Middle East. I saw the likes of Qatar, Bahrain in real time. I went to the United Arab Emirates, and talking to people on the ground, you recognize that they found oil way after us. In some cases, like Dubai, when oil started to run out, they pivot into luxury tourism, and it meant, well, I guess investment and foreign banking and all that, so it keeps the economy turning. How come these places were able to do so much more in less time? Qatar, they were jumping in the ocean to get oysters back in the 60s, from what the locals told me. And look at Qatar today, big players on the world stage. So we have been in the oil business for over 100 years. For, again, 63 years, all of our independence, we had that particular resource to fall back on. Where did we drop the ball? Or did we even drop the ball at all? Are we where we are supposed to be, or we could have been further? Well, what's your take?
Well, we could have been further. There's no question about that. I think the option is, the answer to that is that we could always have been further. But it also has to do with the form of development and how we've treated with energy sector companies. So we've always been on the wrong negotiating end of energy sector companies, whereas some of the companies in the Middle East have decided to take a much more hands-on position in terms of the direction of those companies and also the direction of the sector. What do I mean by that? In a sense that they become active participants. In other words, instead of merely inviting foreign capital, they have been part and parcel of the risk-taking. Now, their position is a lot different to us. You have to remember that Trinidad and Tobago has less than 1% of the world's hydrocarbon resources. That's important to understand. So that there's always been a difficulty. We've always been, in a sense, takers of foreign capital as distinct from investors. And I think that's a significant difference to where we are and where some of the Middle East investors are in terms of how they have invested and what they've invested in. And it's also been a sector or a segment or a market or an area in which literally everybody around you is rich. So there's a certain, how shall we call it? Michael Paul put it, there's a certain attractor principle, which allows money, in a sense, to stay within in that area. Not to say that they haven't invested abroad or they haven't placed great sums of money abroad. They have. But they have had a lot more oil and a lot more gas, if you want, to take some risks in a way that Trinidad and Tobago did not. Oil and gas is important to the Trinidad and Tobago economy, but you have to remember it in the context of our size. And that is the issue. We've always been negotiating from a position of weakness. In a sense that we don't control it. Right? It may be our mineral resources, it may be in our waters, but we've never developed the technology and or the capacity to reinvest and to do it ourselves. Now, that always puts you at a disadvantage if you're negotiating with a foreign supplier or foreign investor who has the money to do everything, and you have limited knowledge of what's taking place. So it's the type of investment that we've had to do, and we have not taken control of our destiny in that regard. And that's a critical difference between ourselves and what is taking place in the Middle East.
Wow, interesting. That's what I really wanted to find out, just to get your perspective on that, because, you know, when you travel, you gain knowledge, you're able to see certain things, and you wonder why can't Trinidad and Tobago be like this or look like this, but I understand the perspective. I'll give you a chance to send your independence greetings, Mariano, to all of Trinidad and Tobago as we wrap things up. Go right ahead.
Well, if you take that as an entry point, the bottom line is what we've done in the past. I don't think we can continue to do in the future. Now, it's always difficult to make that step, and I think it's important that we do. If we look back, we've had the periods of boom and bust. So the bottom line is, what do we do moving forward and how do we handle it? And there's some very difficult decisions to make. And that independence is not merely about celebrating an empty gesture, you know, we won independence, therefore we have a parade. Independence is about how do we accept and face the challenges that are in front of us and understand the required investment, not only in terms of time and money, but in terms of the kind of sacrifices required to make things change. That's not so simple, and I think that's a difficulty that this government and this administration is going to face. How do we, in a sense, move forward from the 63 years and basically forge a new path? That's difficult.
Mr. Brown, as always, sincere thanks. All the best and happy independence to you.
To you as well.
Mariano Brown, economist, touching base with us. We will take the pause and pivot and keep the conversation going with regional security expert Dr. Garvin Hira. U.S. ships in Caribbean waters. Let's get Dr. Hira's perspective.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and start your wellness journey today.
Welcome to ABC Doors and Windows, TNT's #1 destination for the best quality and widest variety of doors and windows. Enhance your space with our premium wooden, steel panels, fiberglass, and steel security doors, complemented by our aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows. Shop for the best quality and service at ABC Doors and Windows. Visit our impressive showroom at 1 Chancatrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to get started. Trust ABC for a better choice.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Get the best in affordable eyewear, frames,
Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Science calls it AMPK, your body's built-in system for burning fat, balancing blood sugar, and fueling energy. Berberine Plus naturally supports AMPK, helping you feel better, live better, be better. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powerful results naturally.
Regional security expert Dr. Gavin Hira joins me on the phone line this morning to unpack the development. Now, let me again thank you for taking the time to share with us, Dr. Hira. Good morning to you and welcome.
Hi, morning, Jason, and morning to the crew, morning to the team, morning to our viewers streaming, listening. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the region.
I just had Mariano Brown with me, economist, and we were talking about the same issue, and he mentioned that, it is a cause for concern. So I'm kind of paraphrasing, but I guess he sees all what's happening as a kind of posturing. It's kind of almost like theater, and he doesn't believe anything major will come out of this. Is there serious cause for concern, Dr. Hira? Is this theater, or are we to really look at the rhetoric, look at what's happening, and brace ourselves if there is any kind of military action? Do you think it will come to that, or this is just the Washington flexing their muscles in the Caribbean waters?
Well, there have always been flexing of muscles, and the U.S. and other major nations of the world have always been within the Caribbean waters as part of the Caribbean Basin Incentive. And there has always been a joint policing or security aspect in the region. It could very well just be theater. I'm not dismissing that. However, we are not to just sit in the audience and look at the stage and think it's just theater. And what we have to do is to be very proactive. We have to be very structured in our thinking. We have to be also in our planning. And just as I said in another place, we'll have to be exploring our consequences and what ifs, that if this zone of peace has been promulgated in the public domain, goes in a next direction, it can end up being a conflict zone. And therefore, if that is so, then what will be some of the consequences and the conditions in a conflict zone for a neighbor as close as Trinidad and Tobago?
Do you think the Prime Minister, obviously she would have made some comments pretty early in all of this, but if it comes down to conflict, did we or do we really have a choice? Obviously she mentioned that Trinidad could be a staging ground, I guess, supplies and that kind of stuff. The U.S. would have been here before. We all know of the history during World War II, Komoto, Chagaramas, all these other places. Could we see a return of that kind of action, and what signal will that send to our South American brothers and sisters?
Yeah, exactly. So she has declared that Trinidad is in a posture of support. She made that quite clear, even if there was any sort of poking that would take place with Guyana, and that we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we are not sure as to the extent or the level of our role. What we have to be concerned about is our geographic location and the demand of any big brother nation to utilize Trinidad and Tobago as any sort of logistic support, staging support, base support. There are a number of agreements and stuff outside there that dictates certain actions. I probably don't want to go into those details right now this morning, but we have to be very, very concerned and be aware that the U.S. have been in here. We just recently concluded, and all kudos to the Chief of Defense Staff, Vice Air Marshal Darrell Daniel, and his team coordinating a successful trade winds exercise involving the U.S. and other Caribbean forces right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And part of that, those exercises was counter narcotics. It involved terrorism. It involved training. But we had a mass of U.S. forces here in country. We recently entertained the berthing of a U.S. naval vessel, a hospital vessel, but that was also here. That was military. So, we have been exposed and involved and integrated with U.S. operations. So it's not a new thing for us. However, if we go into the level of conflict, we're speaking a different language.
But I'm looking at the bounty. The bounty placed on the president of Venezuela's head is $50 million. Going back into my history, looking at the research of Osama bin Laden, when they were looking for him, his bounty was $25 million, and look what he would have done, or at least, would have been associated with. We have the likes of other people they were looking for. I think this is the highest bounty the U.S. they've ever put on someone of interest that they want to face their particular court. Again, they have Maduro, who's on screen right now, down as the man in charge of a cartel. That's a major allegation.
Yeah, they made major allegations. They're going down the line of international narco trafficking. The U.S. will be privy to their level of intelligence as to why they're saying that. And Maduro is not remaining silent. It is alleged that he's saying certain things and doing certain things also. So unlike some of the other people who were basically silent when these bounties were put out, he is raising his volume. So he is, there's an aggression in the atmosphere. There's a tension, as I said before. And when that happens, it is also a cause for concern because basically he's presenting that I'm not sitting down and taking this. He's flexing also. So as to what level he can flex, I'm not too sure.
But we're seeing the militia. I mean, 4 million plus. These are not even trained soldiers. These are just retirees, teachers.
Yeah,
able-bodied Venezuelans signing up. The lines were long. I saw the footage of what happened this weekend.
Yeah, he's building the numbers. So therefore, we have to pay attention to that. Yes, there's a bounty as there was with with other people. This time there's a bounty with somebody who is also showing signs of aggression. So, this must concern the U.S. forces and, of course, Trinidad and Tobago. And at the end of the day, the oil and gas aspect of it, that economic value as to this whole conflict also comes to the floor in the geopolitics with regard to what is happening with energy worldwide. The question that needs to be asked, that just put out there, the what if and the consequences. Okay, we know America has amassed its naval forces in the region. What if an ally of Venezuela decides to do the same thing? What if who Venezuela is close with, in bed with, decides to send their forces also in the region? And then we have now a forming up of the U.S. and their allies and the Venezuela and their allies right in the Caribbean Sea. This is a concern. This is something that can happen. This is something, according to Mariano, could just be theater and would not happen. But I have to think that it could happen in order for us to be prepared. It doesn't happen, very good. We go to bed peacefully. It happens, it shows a whole different light onto what is going to be in the region.
Well, Dr. Hero, you put a whole different complexion and twist on it, because that what if could only be China. And China would have said publicly that, obviously, Venezuela, that's their allies, and they would have put major investment from my research into Venezuela. So I don't think the Chinese government will want to see all that come to nothing. They're clearly putting investment there for returns.
Well, Chinese is just but one. There are a number of other nations outside. It is alleged.
Dr. Hero, is he still there on the Zoom line? Let's see if we could get that connection, because I'd never even put my mind in that place, considering, yes, everybody, regardless of who you are, you will have certain backings and certain people supporting you in your corner, especially if you find yourself in a tight spot.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We have you back. Good. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So I was saying, China is just but one support friend, I should say, or ally, based on investment of Venezuela. There are a number of others. There are allegations that Russia has deployed Oshnik hypersonic missile systems within or close to Venezuela. I don't know how true that is, but it is outside there. And there are a number of documents that are coming across social media that look quite authenticated. I'm saying it's alleged because I don't have proof on it, but that just shows that there may be other people who might also be interested in the region or interested in this space. And therefore, the friends of Venezuela could start showing up in the area.
I mean, Trinidad and Tobago, at this point, everybody, today is Tuesday, people are in the maxis and the taxis heading to work, everybody going about their business. It doesn't really seem to be a major concern on the citizenry and on their top of mind. I mean, people who are watching the news cycle, they're kind of aware what's happening. Again, is this a major cause for concern for the average citizen? For Marlon from Mayaro, Paul from Pleasantville, Stacy from Scarborough. Is this a cause for concern for the average citizen?
Definitely. We cannot underestimate the intelligence of our Trinidadian and Tobagonian citizens. We are a lot much smarter, and I don't make this in a derogatory term. We are much more educated, we are much more exposed, and then there's the information revolution where everybody has their tip on social media and they're reading things and consuming things. And my caution is, guys, be careful what you're consuming outside there, because a lot of stuff is putting out there just for sensationalism. We have to be careful of what we're reading and hearing and believing. However, they are in tune with the news. They are concerned. The average citizen is really about, hey, school going to open just now, bills to pay, this to happen, that to happen. I need to get a job. People are in the socio-economic realm, but they are still concerned because, this is happening just on the periphery of our what I'll call survivability. But I wanted to throw something in, and that was with regard to Guyana. Guyana is facing an election in 7 days. And we are aware of the conflict on the land border with regard to Venezuela and Guyana and certain parts of their maritime border. And again, the conflict exists on the scale of oil and gas. And if the government of Guyana changes and a new government comes in and the conflict is in existence, that is also a risk factor because of decision making, because of the armed forces. You have a government in transition which would exhibit a certain amount of vulnerability for Guyana. Who's making the decision, what is happening, and Venezuela poised on their border to deal with certain issues based on their what they are saying is theirs, and what Guyana is saying is theirs. So this is not something that's to take lightly, and I throw this out from a regional perspective, that we also have to look at what's happening within the neighbors, our other Caribbean nations. Yeah. So those are things. When you have vulnerabilities in a conflict, it can be the excuse or the existence of possible progress of that conflict, and it could end up into a different type of level. So those are some of the stuff that we have to be concerned about. I am hoping that at this point, with Foreign Affairs, Homeland Security, Defense, National Security Council, other strategists within the system, they're probably meeting behind closed doors, having exploratory conversations, questioning and looking at the what ifs and the consequences, and of course, even Trinidad and Tobago being placed into readiness. You would always hear me advocate for the alert states, the national alert states to be introduced in country, the operability of a national operations center. These things play very, very important roles when a country is at the stage of where we are with what is taking place on the outer, the exterior, just close to us, because it gives us the mechanism and the structure and the architecture for readiness and for alert states and for our citizens to behave and to act and to expect certain conditions. And when those conditions arrive or they show their head, we know how to operate because we have a system that is integrated, that is assisting us in our decision making and our reactions.
In that regard, Dr. Hira, lastly, you mentioned something that I must get your perspective on, and that's the regional response. Obviously, our proximity, 7 miles from Venezuela, so we are literally front row if this gets to a place of extreme tension. But we have neighbors who are also part of the region, and it doesn't seem like CARICOM at least for now, is on the same page. We heard the utterance of our Prime Minister, who said everyone needs to speak for themselves. She would have given her perspective. She said Trinidad and Tobago first. Where are we when it comes to, I guess, that regional integration on serious developments like this? We in terms of history, we had to treat with stuff like this within our recent history, or is this this challenge pretty much unprecedented?
Yeah, we have had to deal with this, both the natural disasters and stuff like that, but the only conflict involvement, actually there were two. There was Haiti, where we had armed forces inside of Haiti peacekeeping, joint with the U.S. and with other international
that was in the 90s with Aristide.
Right. Yes. And then there was 1983. We can't forget 1983. I hope you were wrong then.
I was 4 years old, but that was Grenada. 83.
Right. That was Grenada, and they had the U.S. invasion of Grenada, and we had the CARICOM forces being part of that. I mean, so that we have been around this type of thing before. However, CARICOM then and CARICOM now, two different entities. So that's where the scale tips a little bit.
Dr. Hira, as always, great perspective. Have a great one. Have a safe day, and let's keep the conversation going and hope that it's just theater and nothing really develops out of this posturing.
Fingers crossed. Have a good one.
For sure, fingers, and I'll even put toes crossed. Listen, we Trinidad, Tobago, we not ready. If they really draw swords, let's take the pause. We come back, news update, and later on your daily health tip and your calls. See you soon.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Great deals with PRW Back to School. Save big with laptops starting from $3,100. Sky 7-inch tablet only $465. Need a printer? We've got it starting from $625. Get a 40-inch RCA TV only $1,850. 19.5-inch LG monitor $699. Secure your home with our security combo starting from $3,000. Call PRW today 285-9779. Check us in store for keyboards, webcams, stationery, and lots more.
Don't forget, we are Food Basket Superstore right here in Arima. Come see for yourself. From stationery to household items and so much more. Right here at Food Basket Superstore in Arima.
I really love the variety. There's something for everyone here.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle Russell.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Shop at JD's Exclusive for new arrivals in workwear, fresh styles for the workday hustle, plus the latest collection in Brazilian footwear, plus bags and accessories, all at the lowest prices. JD's Exclusive, Princestown, San Fernando, Rio Claro, Gasper Mall, and M6 Plaza Chaguanas. Your low price headquarters, JD's.
Get the best back to school specials at Southern Food Basket. Malta, 1 case for $94.50. Malta, Shandy, Ginseng, 3 for $19.95. Coca-Cola, 2 liters, 2 for $19.95. EcoFrost straight cut fries, 2.5 kg, 2 for $69.95. Swiss barbecue sauce, 500 ml, 2 for $17.95. Swiss Econopack ketchup, 750 ml, 3 for $19.95. Available at Southern Food Basket. Offers available while stocks last.
So I hear Better Homes has the best kitchens.
You heard right. We have Shaker style, modern Euro, and hardwood.
I like this one. Can I test it right here, right now?
Sure, but how are you going to do that?
All right, you all, come inside. Are you ready?
Time's alive! Oh, a spice rack.
Soft close door hinges. Oh, this countertop's nice, well.
It's hot, So, what do you think?
Well, this 100%. Is it. I'll take it.
Build the kitchen you love for less at Beta Homes, Carney or French Street.
Need to upgrade to a better phone system? Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing. In office or remote, our phone system allows you to take every call. Grow your bottom line by offering excellent customer service. Call 217-1895 or 628-8182 or email today.
Eye care tips for Seaview Optical. Eat well. Good eye health starts with the food on your plate. Nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, lutein, zinc, and vitamin C and E might help ward off age-related vision problems. Quit smoking. Makes you more likely to get cataracts, damage to your optic nerve, and macular degeneration. If you have tried to kick the habit before only to start again, keep at it. Wear sunglasses. The right pair of shades will help protect your eyes from the sun's ultraviolet UV rays. Use safety eyewear. If you use hazardous or airborne materials on the job or at home, wear safety glasses or protective goggles.
Get the best and affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
Good morning. I'm Jensen Levin with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. The opposition is labeling the Prime Minister's stance on U.S. warships in the Caribbean as reckless and sinister. Former Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown insists the dispute belongs before the International Court of Justice, warning that her position undermines both national sovereignty and CARICOM unity. He also accuses the Prime Minister of turning her back on the country's responsibilities as a founding CARICOM member and regional security lead.
So what she has done there over 24 hours ago is to fire a shot across the bow of CARICOM solidarity and literally sabotage our region's ability to form a consensus and craft a united position. Unintelligent, inconsistent, unreliable, and lacking in credibility with respect to the use of marine assets to deal with the drug trade.
Former National Security Minister Gary Griffiths believes Trinidad and Tobago stands to benefit from its alignment with the United States as tensions between Washington and Caracas continue to escalate. Griffith says while the geopolitical situation requires careful management, the country's long-standing ties with the U.S. provide a level of stability and security in uncertain times.
We need to be very careful, and if it is that their intention is to do to Trinidad and Tobago the same that they intend to do to Guyana, and they are allies of Trinidad and Tobago that could protect Trinidad and Tobago, I am stating let us utilize it properly, because information can be filtered into the public to falsely mislead them into thinking the wrong thing. So I need us to be very careful. We must not be operating based on emotion. We need to do it based on logic.
A father of 12 was killed days after welcoming his youngest child. Police said 40-year-old Shoin Balkaran was stabbed to death during an argument along Railway Road on Sunday evening. He collapsed on the roadside after one of the men pulled a knife and stabbed him in his throat. Neighbors raised the alarm, but Balkaran died before help could reach him. Now his grieving father recalls the last moments he saw his son alive.
Went to mix concrete and all day. When he gone all day well. From the job by mother and he gone by mother. Like really waiting on him.
Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
3 minutes after 7 o'clock, it's hour number 2 on this Tuesday morning, and we will get into the cause later on Open Forum, a chance for you to express yourself. But before that, it is your daily health tip. Compliments, Omega XL.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Welcome. Today, we dive into the importance of improving adrenal gland circulation and how it impacts your overall health. The adrenal glands, small but mighty, sit atop your kidneys and play a crucial role in your body's stress response by producing hormones like cortisol. When faced with stress or high blood sugar levels, your adrenal glands release cortisol to help regulate glucose metabolism. However, chronic stress can lead to overproduction of cortisol, exacerbating insulin resistance and contributing to persistently high blood sugar levels. This chronic stress response and high cortisol levels often lead to inflammation, creating a feedback loop that worsens metabolic dysfunction. This is why managing adrenal gland health is vital. To improve adrenal gland circulation, several strategies can be highly effective. First, acupuncture can stimulate specific points on the body to promote blood flow and energy balance, supporting adrenal function. Nutritional strategies, such as incorporating foods rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants like leafy greens, citrus fruits, and nuts, also enhance blood circulation. Herbal remedies, including adaptogenic herbs like licorice root, ashwagandha, and rhodiola rosea, can support adrenal function and improve blood circulation. Regular aerobic exercise, such as brisk walking, jogging, or cycling, improves overall blood circulation and supports adrenal health. Practices like yoga and Tai Chi not only promote relaxation, but also enhance circulation. Week by week, these practices can lead to significant health benefits. In the first week, you may feel a boost in energy as cortisol and adrenaline production increases. By the second week, blood pressure regulation improves, leading to more stable blood pressure levels. In the third week, enhanced metabolic health is noticeable as cortisol levels stabilize, improving glucose handling and reducing insulin resistance. Finally, by the fourth week, immune function strengthens, reducing the frequency of illnesses and improving overall well-being. These improvements highlight the importance of maintaining optimal adrenal gland function. Optimal adrenal health leads to increased energy levels, improved stress resilience, enhanced immune function, better metabolic health, and greater mental clarity. Your adrenal glands are the silent champions working tirelessly to keep your body in balance. By understanding their vital role and supporting their health, you can optimize your well-being and thrive. Thank you for joining me. Stay informed and proactive about your health. Your journey to a healthier, more vibrant life starts with caring for your adrenal glands. Remember, every small step you take towards better adrenal health contributes to your overall well-being. Celebrate your progress and continue to prioritize your health for a more vibrant life.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Where health is wealth. Let's take the pause. We come back and we open the lines. Open forum time. Let's hear from you after the break.
Hello, Trinidad and Tobago. Have you noticed the XL products at your local pharmacy? Endorsed by cricket star Andre Russell and many more, these supplements represent the pinnacle of natural health solutions, trusted for their efficacy and purity.
My story is an Alta story.
My reading and writing skill was terrible. And within a year time, I do that level 1, I completed. What? That was like a dream.
In Alta for a long while, I'm not lying. In Alta, jump out, I call me challenging. It was hard, but I fight still. I started to feel nice. I started to feel sweet about myself.
Before Alta, I was so nervous, never understand a lot of things. Alta is a nice place to learn. Like if any student in this program made a mistake, or the other students will turn and help out that student.
The teachers are very wonderful, which is one thing I love. The next thing I love about it, it's free.
You can't study what person's making, the perception of person. You have to focus on what you want.
I am enjoying every moment in Alta.
Today now, I can read, I can write, I can spell, get into Alta so you can write your story.
708-1990.
Great deals with PRW Back to School. Save big with laptops starting from $3,100. Sky 7-inch tablet only $465. Need a printer? We've got it starting from $625. Get a 40-inch RCA TV only $1,850. 19.5-inch LG monitor $699. Secure your home with our security combo starting from $3,000. Call PRW today 285-9779. Check us in store for keyboards, webcams, stationery, and lots more.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Welcome back. 9 minutes. 9 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's give you a chance to weigh in, to get into the program. I know Faizu was making a point yesterday, and I want him to, Faizu, if you're looking on, if you could call me to continue to wrap up the important point he was making yesterday. So again, 624-8721, 627-8658. Let's use out there. Of course, inside this hour, as per usual, your conversation on cancer. Dr. LeBlanc, she joins me later on. And the digipreneur, Karen Rose, new market skills to learn going into 2026. That's the talking point from Karen Rose, who is based out there in Thailand. Faizo, great to have you back, man.
Jason, morning. I remember you said we had to continue the discussion this morning.
Well done, Faizo. I'm looking forward, man. So you go ahead. I know you're making the point yesterday.
Jason, and so let me put a stop. Prior to the intervention of the U.S. in the international waters, what was our relationship with Venezuela with respect to the mass exodus of people leaving Venezuela? For some people to leave Venezuela in droves, it had to tell you that everything is not right in Venezuela. Yes? You agree with me?
Of course, yes. Yeah, you're spot on.
Good. And so, in my mind, there is a lot of people in Venezuela who is dissatisfied with the leadership of the Maduro regime. So they're definitely going to have some fallout there, people supporting the U.S. in the quest. Yes? What will happen, Jason, if Maduro decides to attack Guyana and Guyana call on CARICOM for help together with the U.S.? What do you think will be the position then, Jason? Help me.
No, well, I mean, naturally, Guyana, our neighbor also, friendly neighbor. Everybody will have to rally in Guyana's support.
Exactly. So you follow what I'm saying? We are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. Yes. So I am saying to you, it will boil down to individualism. I am seeing that happening because everybody has a benefit to be derived from their relation with the Americans economically, that is. And we do not want to be placed in a position. Because I remember the ship-rider agreement, there was a lot of hesitancy to sign the ship-rider agreement, and Bill Clinton said, hey, well, you can't want to sign that and benefit from the support of America. Jason, the next morning, Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, everybody jump on board and sign, you know.
Well, Faisal, I want you to listen off here. We're going to take our next caller in, but you have to recall also, yes, there are people who are disenchanted with President Maduro. Trinidad, we got lots of folks coming here. I mean, Colombia, Guyana, so many. But Venezuelans are proud people. You know, they see themselves as the children of Bolivar. And you're seeing people signing up to join the militia by the droves. People signing up weekend to stand up and to fight. Who's out there? Good morning.
Hey, JW.
Hey, St. James, man. My brother.
Morning, bro. How you going?
All is well, man. Go right ahead.
All right. Yeah, going straight into it. Well, I mean, you know, sometimes I just come with a little idea. I'll keep it brief. Similar, as I watching the show in real time, you know, you employed Faisal to continue the conversation. So, you know, I was thinking maybe on a Saturday, we could have like a 3-hour same version concept of the morning brew, but like a recap of the week's issues. And that would be a platform for persons to call in and give a bit more, because the morning brew show is usually tight. And as we know, callers like to gain plenty, so just a little something.
All right.
In terms of, yeah, man, in terms of the burning issue with Venezuela, in my humble, honest opinion, man, I think the most we should do, pay attention. It's in the Caribbean, just pay attention. But we really should be focused on Trinidad and Tobago, redeveloping our economy and seeing how we can move forward as a country. That's my contribution, bro. Keep up the great work as usual.
Thank you, St. James. I appreciate, man. Appreciate St. James. I guess, you know, the Prime Minister, St. James, Mrs. Kamala Persaud-Bissessar, would have mentioned yesterday that her policy is going to be Trinidad and Tobago-centric. It's Trinidad and Tobago first. You know, it's a interesting time. And she'll have some very, I would say, serious decisions to make going forward. Let's hear Diego Martin. Good morning.
Good morning, JW.
Hey, Diego Martin, how are you going? Long time.
Oh,
you see, I went back to Quarry Street, huh? I don't know if you saw Friday's program.
Yes, I saw it. Thank you. I say I have to call and thank you for highlighting it. And I spoke to my counselor, and because I don't live out there, but I go out there if I have to go and, you know, visit any business place.
Who's your counselor? Who's your counselor, Diego Martin?
Kida James.
James, yeah. Let me tell you, moss on the pavement, you know.
Yeah, I spoke with her. Now, from what I heard, the geographic, you know, yes, her side. She's not responsible for that side of the main road. It's another counselor. But I spoke with her concerning issues with us here with the drain behind us there, that Diego Martin River, and I said we were lucky it didn't overflow. But because there's a lot of trees growing in the river, and she said to me, the drainage Ministry of Works Drainage Department is the person responsible for that cutting of trees in the river, and they have been talking about they have no funding and you know the normal jargon, no funding, release of funds and all kind of things. So it's out of her hands. I understand what she said. It is not under the borough portfolio. The Ministry of Works Drainage Department responsible for drains, and that same pavement that you saw out there by Quarry Street is terrible. School is going to open in the next 2 weeks, and those children have to pass there again with that open manhole. It's terrible.
Not one, but two.
And before I go, what you said?
Not one manhole open, two, a matter of fact.
Yes, right, two. Yeah. And I want to say that statement by David Naked, he needs to be removed as a councillor, because you can't be calling people rabid dogs. No way. Patrick Manning if Patrick Manning was alive, he would have said he should have leave him in that Lebanon jail. Have a blessed day, JW. Disrespectful man.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really make no comment on that, but yes, it is disrespectful. But Senator Naked would have, you know, I mean, obviously, it's not the first time. That's the same personality that called the previous president, Ms. May Weeks. Well, yeah, you remember, right? I'm sure you remember what he did in that regard, and nothing happened. So I guess his utterances will continue. It's unfortunate. Let's start to Pleasantville. Good morning.
Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, Jason, thanks. Jason, you know, two issues here. When the U.S. turn their pack up and leave, which they will eventually have to at some time, they are not taking Trinidad and Tobago in tow with them. And what, in response to FISO this morning, you know what was one of the fallout for that mass Venezuelan migration here? It was that Mr. Trump doing just what he's doing here and trying to install a new government in Venezuela and put sanctions on them, and they started to flee. But what came out of that, Jason, was that this government at the time instituted one of the only, and I would say, one of the only illegal migration registration process in history. We registered, and it cost us money. The U.S. didn't finance that. Our money had to register Venezuelan citizens here for almost a month. That cost us money, and it is going to happen again if war breaks out. They're going to be flooding here. We cannot take them. We cannot afford them, and we will have to deal with that fallout. The U.S. turn their back and they leave you when they're finished seeking their interests. Now, one other thing I'm telling you, Jason, I'm trying to understand how is it we are issuing detention orders for persons who are already detained. That is not making any sense.
Yes,
you are already detained. Intelligence showed that you were doing X. We removed you. We put you in another place to be detained. And now we are issuing detention orders for people who are already detained.
Because apparently there was a breach in the new detention area, which is the Army base, and I am baffled by this development.
How much more are they going to detain you? What are they? What, we got to send you to El Salvador?
What I was saying, they might have put these folks on a barge in the ocean. That's the next place.
You are already incarcerated. You're already detained.
Yeah.
Why are we detaining you further? You're already detained. We should be...
Pleasantville, don't worry, Pleasantville, we'll get a chance to continue tomorrow with that commentary because that's a spot-on point. Let's take one more now, could we? Let's take one more really quick before we wrap things up with the calls. Good morning.
Pleasant morning, Mr. Williams.
Good morning. Go right ahead.
I'm calling from Tabaquite, yes.
I'm listening. Go ahead, Tabaquite.
Right. Mr. Williams, I have one pertinent question for Donald Trump. And if I meet with Donald Trump this morning, the President of America, the question I would ask him, what Maduro did to you? And that's the billion-dollar question here. And this is the question people not asking. What did Maduro did to Trump? And I'm saying this is the question in my mind. And if Trump could watch me in my face and tell me, I am saying is one thing that Donald Trump is after is the oil and gas. Thank you.
All right, Tabaquite, pertinent question. Pertinent question. I want to thank all the callers, Digger Martin, Pleasantville, FISO, everybody for weighing in this morning and getting into the program. We'll try again to open up tomorrow as we continue to hear from you right here on The Morning Brew. Digipreneur. Up next, Karen Rose joins us for another important talking point. See you soon.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time. Or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise Inn. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center.
So I hear Better Homes has the best kitchens.
You heard right. We have Take a Style, Modern Euro, and Hardwood.
I like this one. Can I test it right here, right now?
Sure, but how are you going to do that?
All right, you all, come inside. Are you ready?
Time to live! Oh, a spice rack.
Soft closed door hinges. Oh, this countertop's nice, well.
It's hot, so. So, what do you think?
Well, this
100%.
is it. I'll take it.
Build the kitchen you love for less at Beta Homes, Carney or French Street.
What should your parents use to fight inflammation?
Omega XL.
What do you think I should take, babe?
My mommy and daddy should use Omega XL to fight inflammation.
Oil and music at the Freebird Festival.
We are heading down to the Point of Pear Golf Course on our Independence Day. We celebrate our national instrument and our icons in true style. Witness a once-in-a-lifetime joint performance by King David Rudder. Backed by the powerful Exeter Steel Orchestra, Southland Skiffle, backing Irfan Alves. And show in Manchester, I Sasha, Shalon Bailey. Also featuring Ricky Jai, Jam Melody, Trupati, Shimmy October, Mongol Patasaw, Shiv Shakti Dancers, Malik Tassa Drummers, and all of our beloved traditional characters.
The land of oil and music.
Our digipreneur Karen Rose joins us on the Zoom line, checking in from Thailand on this Tuesday afternoon on his side of the world, but nonetheless the conversation and the information continues. Karen, great to see you. How are things, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good, Jason. How is everything on your end?
Well, I mean, we're bracing ourselves. I don't know if you've seen the news, but yeah, interesting developments of the shores and the waters.
I'm paying attention, man. I'm paying attention because at the end of the day, I tell everybody, home is still home, and people could put you out the country. So you want home. You want home to ensure that everything is all right at home.
Yeah, we hope it's just theater, but we'll keep our eyes on that developing story. Let's touch on today's talking point, new market skills going into 2026. Obviously, we are already into the third quarter of 2025. I'm seeing I'm watching in terms of the tech, Philip Hue bringing out their new hub and different companies, unveiling new technology, new hardware for 2026. But we're talking here skills, skills that we could log on to, things we could learn going into the ever-changing times and the 2026, which is literally around the corner. So walk us through it.
Yeah, so small correction, this is on marketing skills. So what does the new age marketer look like in 2026? And this is a huge one, because here's the thing, right? So much has changed in 2025 that the market of 2026 is no longer defined by a degree, and they're no longer defined by a job title. They are now defined by execution and their ability to be able to do research, to strategize, to create content across multiple channels, not just social media, but we're talking video content, podcasting content, we're talking the offline content, knowing when you need to create content within the media, like on TV, in the newspapers, on radio. The marketers now, that role has never been more diverse than it is today. And if you have not made any adjustments to your marketing team in 2025, if you've made no adjustments, you are way behind, because if you went into 2025 with the old marketing team, that marketing team is no longer fit for purpose going forward.
So where does AI come into the conversation? Because I know naturally we speak all the time about AI, I guess, being a major player now in all spheres of business. I guess the marketer also needs to be up to the time and aware of AI and what's happening in that space, I would imagine.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to start with data, right? Data is, as we've been saying for years at this point, data is the new oil. If you as a marketer do not know how to do data research, so one example from my end is, whenever I'm working with a client or I'm creating my content, I have tools that scrape the data from the search engines like Google, like Bing, and that gives us the ability to see what exactly people are looking for, what are the ages of the people that are searching for particular topics. We can even see where people are located right in Trinidad and Tobago that are looking for things online. We have access to all of that data. So it starts with do you have the data research skills to inform your entire marketing and content strategy? And I'll tell you this, 9.9 out of 10 of all the companies in Trinidad and Tobago do no data research when it comes to marketing. And that's a major area, because in order to create the right content, in order to run the right ads, it all has to be grounded in the data research that you do before you do anything else.
So data is the new currency. Obviously, market skills going into 2026. How do we marry all of this? What's going to differentiate that person who's going to be top of shelf? You know, the company wants that particular person compared to someone who, as you said, might have the degree, and I guess you need to really show in real time that you can make the impact and turn that marketing skill into dollars and cents and profit for the business.
Yeah, and you know what? I keep telling people this, like I lecture at 3 different universities in Trinidad and in the US, right? The way schools are built, it was never made for the speed at which change is happening right now, right? So there is no degree that you could have achieved within the last 6 months that's preparing you for what is happening right now. Your degree isn't going to help you. It looks good, and this is strictly from marketing. So before anybody starts to pelt the remote of the TV, we're talking about marketing, right? In the field of marketing today, the world is changing so fast. So what are some of the skills that people need to be able to master as a marketer going into 2026? Let me run through the list. So for one, the data side of it. Do you understand data? Can you pull data? Can you turn data into strategy? 2, and this is a major one, content creation and content repurposing. Can you take one idea and can your marketer create 100 pieces of content from one idea? It sounds like a lot, but I do that on a regular basis. Me as a solo act can take one idea and create 100 pieces of content from it. And a big part of that is, do you understand the AI tools that we have available to us? Because in order to take one idea and then turn it into 100 pieces of content, you need to understand the data, you need to understand your AI tools to be able to create both the audio content, the video content, the written content, social media content, and the content that lives outside of social media. So your data research, your content creation, learning AI and the AI tools, and then another big one is, do you understand AI search? Because right now, people are going to ChatGPT, they're going to Gemini, Perplexity, all of the AI tools. And this is where the customer journeys are starting now, because they can ask, a regular person can ask 1 million questions, and AI is not going to get fed up. It's going to keep on giving them all of that information so that they can make a decision. But it's up to the marketers to understand, do you know how to get your company's content or your brand's content to show up inside of the AI tools? Because if you're not showing up in the AI tools, and if your marketers do not know how to do that, your marketing team needs to be rebuilt from scratch.
You know, as we wrap things up, what I consider, again, you could be a marketer for any industry, right? You could, yes. You could be dealing with finance, you know, you name it. But for, let's say, beauty, entertainment, I mean, there is a cheat code, and people would have used that for many years, where, you know, we play into that, into you know, the sex and the showing of the skin and all that. I mean, obviously that is still relevant, and I would imagine even for that person who would go down that road and use that means of marketing, which will always catch eyeballs, I guess you still need to upgrade, right? You still need to find ways to improve on your marketing skills, right?
Yeah, because you know what, Jason? When is the last time you bought a vehicle because the person looked nice? When is the last time you made a decision that involved real money? I'm talking about you taking out an insurance policy, you making an investment, you spending significant amount of money, and you looking to get information so that you understand how to make the right choice. At what point does a beautiful man or female, how does that factor into that decision-making process? It doesn't. And now, like I said, now that the customer journey is shifting to the AI tools, where people are now going into the AI tools, they're asking a million questions about a product or a service or anything they're thinking about. If you're not showing up in there, again, your beauty is not impacting that. You have to now learn these skills to be able to show up. And one of the things that, I'll mention this as we're wrapping up, one of the things that we're doing is we have a partnership with TAT, the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. We have a workshop coming up on September the 16th. One of the biggest skill sets that you could learn right now is understanding podcasting, both the video podcast and the audio podcasting. We're doing this workshop. You can visit either my Instagram account, go to my link in bio, go to the TAT's website. And this workshop is to empower the youth, the male youth of TNT and the wider Caribbean, and teaching them about digital skills. So I'm going to be hosting it. It's going to be a full day workshop. Certified Samson is also going to be jumping in there to lend his expertise on content creation. TAT understands we have a lot of stories to tell. We need people to understand what it takes to get their message out. And again, free workshop, go check it out and jump in on September 6th.
Definitely, I'm sure next week get a chance to talk about it some more as we get closer to the day. Karen, all the best. Thanks for touching base, man, and you be safe out there.
Of course, you too. Take care.
That's right. Karen Rose, our digipreneur. Up next, of course, Dr. LeBlanc joins me live on set, Conversations on Cancer. A very important talking point yet again. Always a joy to have Dr. LeBlanc with us. See you soon, TNT.
All your shops. Fresh new look, delicious to see. Looks so good, delicious to see. With toppings on top of it, I'm real hungry.
Yeah, boy, real hungry.
Cricks, new pack is a hit. Best food, yeah, so don't sick. Ready for the shorting to fix your mix? Just reach for the new pack. Reach for your Cricks. Get your Cricks today. New look, same vital supplies.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Always a joy to have Dr. LeBlanc with us on set in studio live. Another important talking point on this Tuesday morning. We are treating with cancer prevention and lifestyle, and that's a topic we could literally talk all morning on. Obviously, we'll zone in on the most important factors so that we could come out of the conversation knowledgeable and with that focus on preventative healthcare, because ultimately I like to see Dr. LeBlanc, but the less we really see, if you don't have to see Dr. LeBlanc, I mean you're doing something correct, right?
Most times.
Yeah, most times. Welcome, good morning.
Morning, Trinidad. Oh my gosh, it's August, we're nearly done.
Yeah, nearly done.
Going back to school, which is a perfect time for this conversation.
So, lifestyle cancer, it's a lifestyle disease. And we find ourselves in a timing where life is fast-paced. Everybody's on the grind. Sometimes, gone are the days where you'll sit down and have that homemade breakfast, even the homemade lunch, even the dinner, people eating on the go. It's a lot of stress, traffic, so many different factors. And then there are those who, because of the stress and the perils of our workplace or even their own family structure, turn to a substance to just escape. So whether it's a little sip in the afternoon, whether they take a pull, that's your routine to just calm down and keep the nerves on a level so you could go and take a nice rest. And that's your daily routine day after day. Obviously, after a while, there will be an impact.
You will have consequences.
How do we start that holistic and that more wholesome lifestyle? Where does the journey start?
So as I tell my patients, I really walk the walk because, yes, life is extremely busy, extremely hectic. And I don't know if it's the same for you, but coming out of COVID, it seems like the rat wheel got faster. It didn't slow down at all. It slowed down for 1 minute and then it just went helter-helter after that. So what we have to do is be mindful. What does this mean? We have to make the conscious effort to change our lifestyle. And that means, JW, that you have to do meal prep. You have to, and it can't be you alone. So whatever family structure you have, it's best if you have the buy-in of all or most of your family members. So for example, who's gonna do the rice today? Who's gonna do the greens? What's the menu looking like for the next 2 days? Because we can't prep for the whole week, but at least let's try to get that week going where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is covered. So if by Thursday you buy something on the road, you're not going crazy and then you have your cheat day and whatever. But we really have to be very mindful of what we're going to do, be it food-wise, exercise-wise, our toxic habits being no smoking, no vaping, very little alcohol, reduce the intake of alcohol. If you're not drinking, don't drink. If you are drinking, cut down. Understanding the quality of food. And we have to also look at the economics of all of this. So that means, do we as a family go to the market? And I know it sounds very airy-fairy and Hallmark and Lifetime and all these things, but the reality is that it is actually quite fulfilling. And I'll challenge you to try it just over the next 2 weeks. And even the public, just make an effort to once go to the market, be your central market, your little green market, your veggie mart, and have that conversation with the grocer. Look at the fruits that are in season, understand the meats you're putting into your body, understand how, what you're doing, be it you went to the supermarket for certain goods, but you went to the market for certain goods. And, JW, you feel much more nourished and fulfilled. You understand? And then try to sleep better. So instead of being on social media for 10 hours, I admit I'm guilty of that. TikTok has me sucked in completely. But, cut down and mentally, have discussions with the family. Make that lifestyle small steps that have an immense positive impact. And that's just one foundation when we talk of prevention.
Because the reality is, and I'm sure in your professional capacity, you would have seen folks having to stop everything cold turkey. A brutal diagnosis is there, there's something that is life-threatening, and then you have to make that adjustment immediately to try to salvage what is left of your health. And most people, if they're able to get over the line, they keep that lifestyle, thank God. You know, they take a full 180 and change what they eat and how they sleep and stuff. But I guess the conversation and why we do this every week is to not have people face that particular
To not
crossroad.
have to face that, to understand that it's about moderation, that moderation is key, that yes, you know, and don't get me wrong, you know, we have come a long way as human beings in terms of technology. I mean, the Digipreneur tells us things every week about these things we can't even begin to fathom sometimes in the Caribbean. But the reality is we also have to remember our basics. We have to remember, don't you feel much better if you got to do your toast, or like I'm Guyanese, so my cassava bread with some cheese paste that I made at home or some peanut butter and a fried egg versus I running out to see what I buy in that I don't know how much sugar in it, I don't know how much processed foods in it, I don't know how much things in it and how much, you know, trans fats, and so I'm putting something much more nourishing into my body. Yes, I have to leave home earlier once school starts, and that's the big thing. We're all good now. We're smelling the hibiscus. We're enjoying life. We can drink. I go to gym and go home now. I don't have to go to work straight away because I have time because of traffic. When school starts, we have a different humdrum. But can we then, let's say we're in the car at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, can you then have a different routine and be mindful as you eat and drive?
Yeah.
You understand? Or the conversation with your children and your family members. So little things, you know, little things.
And I go back to substance because I've recognized even young people, very young people, having to use substance as a coping mechanism. And I'm trying to think back when I was in my 20s. I mean, my high was music. I didn't draw for no substance. I mean, everybody would go through some kind of stress, whether it be relationship, where you are in life. But I think we have a major substance abuse issues, and it's not only just the alcohol and smokes. We've seen people going on the road of narcotics, hard drugs, pills.
Narcotics and using other pills like oxycodone and the other one, fentanyl, and everything else that is coming on the market.
What's the impact on the body and more so the mind when you go down that road of these hard substances?
Well, it's detrimental because the brain develops by 21. So the impact of these substances on the brain development is real. You know, we actually, the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society has a campaign coming up with our sponsor, Scotiabank Foundation, which is our No Smoking, No Vaping campaign, where we go out to high schools. And it's been backed by, you know, encouraged and approved by the Ministry of Education. And this is where we reach out to our young adolescents because first of all, we have to understand that they are amazing as young adults. They have a brain that we can't even begin to imagine right now. You know, long ago, I tell people, babies used to come out, their head was floppy, you know, it was like, oh, coo. Now I find babies walking out the uterus with an iPad in their hand, you know, because that's evolution, as it says, and that is okay, but then we have to treat them. And so I always tell the adolescents, because I do some of the lectures, we're not here to speak down to you, we're here to speak with you, to understand. And the stress in their life is real. Every single stress is different for each student, and it's real. So it's about us having open conversations and frank conversations. And you know, JW, letting it be a safe space so that our teenagers understand that we can all make mistakes. If we don't make mistakes, we may not do better. Yeah? And it's very important that but it's how bad a mistake you want to make. Yeah? And so we have to have that safe space for them. We as adults have to be very responsible, and also we have to be very, very cautious with the wolves in sheep clothing. So that means, you know, let's know the adults that we have around our kids. Let's understand it. But, you know, if, you know, understand that safe space. Like I'm amazed. I have teenagers. Well, one last teenager, she's 18, and the other ones are all older. But still to have the conversations with them now, like I had a conversation with my son the other day, and I'm talking to him, and he's reminding me of all the things I taught him when he was growing up. And he says to me, you know, I still need guidance. And he's in his 30s, and I'm like, dude, I'm looking here for you to take care of me, right? But the reality is to have that conversation so that it goes on, and you have the longevity of that open conversation, because that, do you recognize that if you can speak your emotion, understand how you're feeling, that natural flow of energy in the body is in itself very healing and restorative? Very important, and I'm glad you touched on that. And speaking about conversation, what about the conversation with some of our more senior family members?
I always speak of the transparency that's required for us, the younger ones, to know the family history, the health history. So many times there's the passing of a grandparent, a grandfather, a grandmother. They tell you it's a heart attack, but this time it would have been cancer. So, and it was something that they never spoke about back then. It was called the Big C.
It's the Big C.
And it's something that so you don't even know what your family's health history is, because it's this guarded secret.
So I found, like, I was telling somebody the other day that unfortunately, I didn't get to live a very long time with my grandparents, and I found you feel kind of cheated, but then the time I had with them was immense in terms of the impact and on who they have made me today as an adult. And I'll never forget that I sat down with my grandmother. I came home from medical school one summer, and I'm there with her, and she always called me a bacchanalis, basically. We could all see why. So she says, to me, I say to her something, and I'm, talking to her like about relationships or something like that. And then I went into the health history, and then she goes, we never think to speak to our younger people about these things. And so we have to allow them to feel safe as well, to understand that times have changed, and knowing that makes a big difference. You understand? Knowing that Mommy had a breast cancer, she survived it or she did not survive it. That impacts on me as a woman. Knowing that Auntie had it, the daddy's mommy had it, or ovarian cancer, or pancreatic cancer, or cervical cancer, colon cancer, understanding that is very, very important. So this is where, as I tell the teenagers, this is where we want you to be ambassadors, where you go back to your elders and you say, you know what, Dr. LeBlanc or Dr. Bazio or whoever said in school today, and we want, what do we know? Tell me more. I so ashamed because my daughter was asking me the other day about the family history in terms of where we're from Africa, and I was at a loss. And that's when I was like, ooh, don't know that.
Yeah,
you understand?
Just do the DNA test.
The DNA test. But the reality is,
I did it.
I didn't do it yet.
I found out. Yeah.
But our younger people, they're much more inquisitive. Yeah. And so it's about them, and so that communication. So for the elders to be seen as not elders who can't speak, that you can have that communication, is so much positivity in that, in terms of for the family understanding, and then still encouraging the elders to get screened, to do what they have to do, and to see how we can all be healthier as a family and as a population is so, so important.
As we wrap things up, Dr. LeBlanc, it would be remiss of me not to request Independence Day greeting from you and on behalf of the society. Yes, so go right ahead, man.
How many years independence?
63.
63. Oh my God. So I'm not a Trini, but I've been here so long, for 20 years. So on behalf of the board, the directors, the staff, the survivors, the entire TTCS family, we do wish Trinidad and Tobago an enjoyous and very, very restful and, dare I say, memorable Independence Day. Really take time to reflect. Our forefathers and our foremothers have fought so hard for this. The Caribbean is changing. We do have to just, come together, unify, and I really wish you all the best for your Independence Day. And enjoy the long weekend as well. That helps.
That's right. I mean, you're honorary Trini,
I am. I've been here for 20 years.
Yeah, you're one of us.
My Guyanese family say I'm a Trini because I don't sound totally Guyanese until you get me real vexed. So it's hard sometimes, but but no, I must say Trinidad and Tobago has brought a lot, and this, I'm proof of what immigration is, and really and truly embracing the Caribbean culture. And independence is something, when we look back, my grandfather died 40 years ago on August 6th, and he was one of the pioneers of the Caribbean. And speaking to one of his colleagues, it was important to understand that what they did, when they did it, to fight for each country's independence, and it's amazing. What was done with so little, and now we have, relatively, we have so much, and we should not squander that, and we should carry on, because that's what they did. They bounced us up, so we need to keep carrying on that baton. And I'm not a politician, by the way, but I do wish everybody an amazing Independence Day, and reflective, because we have come through a lot, but we have a lot more battles to fight, health-wise especially. Please get screened. Don't be afraid of a diagnosis. A diagnosis of cancer does not equate death, and the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society is here to advocate always.
Dr. LeBlanc, all the best. Always a joy. Always a joy. Yes, and with that, we take the pause, we come back, and we look to officially wrap things up. A couple of different housekeeping commitments, but indeed we get out of here at 8 o'clock. And again, all the best of to the blood.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Yes. See you soon.
Get the best back-to-school specials at Southern Food Basket. Soft and Pretty paper towels, 3-pack, 2 for $29.95. Snuggle napkins, 250s, 2 for $22.95. Quicks 300 ml, 3 for $24.95. Western corned beef, 2 for $28.95. Blue Ribbon chicken franks, 450 grams, 2 for $26.95. Blue Ribbon turkey bologna, 200 grams, 3 for $24.95. Available at Southern Food Basket. Offers available while stocks last.
Thunderwal, powering industry, fueling progress. Reliable fuel pumps, meters and nozzles. From dock to deck, marine tools, hoses, PPE and fittings. Hydraulic, automotive and food-grade oils and lubricants. For all your manufacturing needs. Pallet jacks, intrinsically safe tools and more. Browse livestock and prices on our website at www.vanderwalett.com. Visit us today.
Welcome to RD Good Health Medical Center, your trusted partner in total wellness. We're conveniently located at 34B Southern Main Road, Montreal, Chaguanas. From consultations to diagnostics, vaccinations, and women's health, we're here for you. Our cutting-edge tech includes a 124-slice CT scanner, X-ray, ultrasound, and full lab services to ensure you get everything under one roof. Plus, our dialysis center offers expert, affordable care. RD Good Health, caring for you every step of the way. Contact us at 223-3730 or WhatsApp 725-4663 today.
As we get closer to the 8 o'clock hour, let's touch base with Jamark Ramprasad to tell us the latest via our World Weather Wrap. Jamark, good morning.
Good morning. In today's weather wrap, we head over to East Asia, where Typhoon Kajiki made landfall in Vietnam on Monday, unleashing dangerous winds as the powerful storm surged through the country's central provinces, prompting authorities to evacuate tens of thousands of residents. Kajiki barreled into Vietnam yesterday with wind speeds of 133 kilometers per hour, according to Vietnam's National Weather Agency. Powerful winds ripped through properties, uprooted trees from the ground, and knocked down lampposts, according to the state media. The provinces are around 350 kilometers south of the capital, Hanoi. Earlier, residents and business owners along the coast had boarded up windows and stacked sandbags outside homes, restaurants, and hotels. Authorities shut down schools, 2 provincial airports, and organized mass evacuations from the coastal provinces as Kajiki, which is the 5th typhoon to hit Vietnam this year, churned towards the Southeast Asian nation. More than 40,000 people had been evacuated in low-lying coastal communities as of Monday morning, according to their local media. Typhoon Kajiki also brushed past China's southern island province of Hainan, affecting more than 100,000 people before making landfall in Vietnam. Now let's head over to the United States, where a refreshing chill began yesterday for much of the central and eastern United States as a potent cold front charged south from Canada after a long, hot summer. More than 200 million people are getting their first true taste of autumn. The change is dramatic, with temperatures forecast to plummet 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit below average for late August. In northern Minnesota, some areas have already seen frost advisories as morning temperatures dipped into the 30s or near freezing. The front will continue its southward march, bringing much-needed relief from the oppressive heat that has defined much of the season in the U.S. Now, this pattern shift, while a welcome change for many, signals a turning point from the sweltering days of summer to the crisp, cool days of fall in the United States. Now let's take a look at our local weather forecast for today, where we can expect showers scattered throughout the day and over both islands. The heavier showers are expected to favor eastern areas during the morning, then western areas during the afternoon. We can also expect some showers to continue overnight as moisture associated with the next tropical wave approaches. That's all for today's weather wrap. Back to you.
Jamark, sincere thanks as always. Let's remind you ways and means you can contact us. Make the request to join me live on set or via the Zoom line or even phone line sometimes. You're sending that email to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. The social media handles, very active. We stay on top of all what's happening regionally, internationally, and via the local front. Instagram, Facebook, and X at CNC3 News, at CNC3 Television, at CNC3 TV, #TMB. Let's move across to the mobile app. It's a must-have on your smartphone. Get it today, your #1 source for verified breaking news, all your favorite content on demand, and programming updates and details. And what about the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian? The backbone, the stalwart, the foundation of what we do here at GML. Of course, we want you to stay up to the time with your digital Guardian. You could get your subscription when you sign up via guardian.co.tt. Let's move across to our food for thought. That's right, words to inspire. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Listen, I talk that all the time. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Listen, we want everybody to change, and we want this policy and that policy, and for them to do better, and for government, and for the prime minister, and for the opposition leader, and for this one to... Listen, the person that you govern is yourself, ultimately. We govern ourselves, and by extension, I guess, family, community, and those, obviously, who get the responsibility to govern country. I guess much is expected, as they always say, to whom much is given, much is expected, but it starts really with self-governance and how we treat with ourselves. We heard from Dr. LeBlanc, it starts with health, diet, how we treat with that aspect, and then ultimately others, the people close to us, the people in our community, and by extension, the country. So beautiful words to take us out on this Tuesday the 26th of August, 2025. August nearly done. We're getting ready for Independence this weekend. Next Monday's a holiday. We'll be here, of course, to bring you the Independence special. And God spare, we'll do it all over again tomorrow morning at 6, right here on CNC3 for the Morning Brew. Have a great and a safe day, TNT. All the best.
Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.